Hi, I'm Chris, but let's be honest, if you're watching this, you probably already know that. Now, this video is going to be a bit different than the others. It's mostly just an unscripted smorgasbord of me answering comments and questions, talking about the video making process and what to expect from the series going forward. So you're absolutely not missing out on any content of the Genshin series by not watching this video. I just want to let you guys know right away. This video is mostly just for those that really want to follow the process and maybe want to learn a bit more about me and the video making process as a whole, and what to expect of the series in the future. In fact, the footage in the background here is just going to be me doing my dailies and exploring and stuff. So again, you're absolutely not missing out on any content, so don't worry about that if you don't want to watch this video. Now, that being said, this video won't be entirely unedited. I'll be going through the footage, and anytime I say something stupid, so let's just start with the one question that I think most people have right now, and that might be a reason why you're here actually. Will there be / when is the next episode coming? Of course, there's another episode coming. I teased it pretty hard in the last video as well, I think. So I'm definitely gonna go ahead and make the next video about Liyue, so don't worry about that. There's gonna be no more character quests for now. It's gonna be exclusively the Archon quest in Liyue for the next video. Having said that, and what I've gathered from some of your comments is that Liyue is massive and it might take quite a while to finish. And at the same time, there are some changes happening IRL for me, which make it a bit different to work on the next video compared to this one. I'd say since the first video released and up until part 2 came out, I was almost working exclusively full-time on YouTube. I had plenty of time every day to sit down, record, and come up with stupid memes and edits that I thought you guys would enjoy. My free time will be a bit more limited starting in January, so it will take just a bit longer to get the next episode out. So I'm gonna have to ask for just a bit more patience for the Liyue episode. I am sorry about that. I really want to give it my all, but everything is happening at the same time in my life right now. It's pretty typical. To go into a bit more detail, for the past few months, I've actually been between jobs, and so I've had plenty of time to work on my hobbies and do some YouTube. I never expected things to blow up the way they did, and of course it happens at the exact time when I'm going to switch to a new full-time job, move to another city. So there is a ton of stuff happening right now, and that does impact the video making process, so I just want to make that clear. A thing I really don't want to do is lower the quality of these videos, because I feel like you guys really appreciate it, so I want to take my time to make it the best possible video that it can be, and I hope you'll agree with me on that standpoint. But seeing as the next one might take a bit longer, I actually want to ask you in this video as well, would you be interested in me releasing the video in chunks, like maybe a chunk for each act in the story, or would you rather wait for the full release? I personally would like to release a full video on Liyue, as I think that gives me the most freedom in terms of script writing, and if we do decide to release it in parts, I'm probably going to connect the dots at some point and make a full video at the end. But let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. That means I would be able to get some videos out a bit faster. Alright, now let's move on to the second comment here. Were you really at 300 subscribers when the video released? And yes, I actually was. In fact, that screenshot of my channel that I placed in the first video, I actually took that right before I released. So I was at like 321 subscribers. And with that video, I was really hoping to reach maybe 500 subscribers. That would have been a massive success in my eyes already. So this blow up of my content is just absolutely insane, and I want to thank you guys once again for that. It has been such a wild ride to follow. Like, we went from 300 subs and a few views to becoming a full YouTube partner, having the video monetized and all. Like, it's just absolutely insane, so thank you very much for that once again. Alright, let's move on to something a bit more specific to Genshin now. The fabled Traveler timeskip rant that I have in my first video. This is where I complain about the Traveler just apparently running around for years, not really doing anything. Now, some of you guys have corrected this in the comments and told me to look at the voice lines, and so I did. Like, the Traveler didn't actually wander around for years, he actually only wandered for a few months, and I think he was with Paimon for most of that time. So apparently they were stuck on that beach and Paimon was teaching him some language. I still don't really buy that explanation. Like a few months is a long time. I know they couldn't communicate, but like, wouldn't they wander off into the forest to gather some food or berries or something? Like, I know the guy had a fishing rod, but still, he must have been tired of that shit at some point, right? The other part of this comment addresses the Paimon hate in the video. I think the exact wording is that the Paimon hate is unnecessary in 2025. And I can see how you come to that conclusion, but I thoroughly disagree. Yes, Paimon actually does act as a guide for the most part and does help us out. I'm not saying that she is helpful, but oftentimes she literally just repeats the exact phrasing that was said 2 seconds ago. Like, she hammers the point home for the player in such a degree that I feel like it's just a little derogatory. Like, we're not stupid, we understand dialogue. At least, I think most of us do. I've also seen in several comments that Paimon actually does get better later on, and that's nice and all, but I am playing this for the first time, really, in 2025, and this is the part of the story I'm at, and at this point, Paimon is just stuck in worst girl tier. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about that. At the same time though, I do think my opinion of Paimon slightly changes throughout the first video. Like, I actually do start to kind of meld minds with her, as someone also mentions in another comment. So she's not all bad, I need some time. Alright, a few other comments I've seen addresses these references to Breath of the Wild and Nintendo. Like this one, it's almost 2026 and there are still people who think Nintendo invented goblins. I got a good laugh from that one, I gotta admit. And I just want to clarify real quick. When I talk about Nintendo lawsuits and stuff like that, it's actually mostly a jab at Nintendo and their apparent eagerness to just copyright everything and throw lawsuits in the face of every single person or company that tries to iterate on one of their mechanics. I can definitely see why you would think that this is what I mean with it, but yeah. But you've got to admit that the similarities to bokoblin camps in Zelda are kind of hard to ignore. There are a lot of similarities, at least in the early game. At this point in my Genshin adventure, I rarely think about that stuff anymore though. Like, Genshin has become its very own thing to me now. It's totally different and I see that. Alright, let's move on to another type of comment. I've gotten a ton of these. It's the wait until you get to X region story or bro doesn't know comments. Now, I actually like these comments a whole lot as they just get me so much more excited to get further in the story, because everyone is literally saying the story gets so much better when you get to this or this or this region. But I also do try to stay a little clear of these type of comments, and that is simply because of the fact that I am definitely afraid of spoilers, and I feel like if I got spoiled, that would ruin some of the enjoyment of the videos as well with me discovering stuff. Like, I don't want to fake a reaction, I want to actually see things firsthand. So if I don't respond to these types of comments, now you know why, but just know that these are actually really appreciated and I like seeing them a lot. Alright, another type of comment I've seen that has a bit to do with Paimon as well is the, if you find the voices so annoying, just switch to the Japanese or Chinese dub, bro. It gets so much better there. And while I actually for a very long time was a purist about this stuff, like I only wanted to consume media or literature or whatever in the language it was intended, there are several reasons why I really don't want to switch over to one of these dubs in Genshin. The first part is I actually do really like the English dub. It's just that Paimon sometimes grates on the ears a bit, and Xiangling a little bit too, I gotta admit. But she's a side character, so who cares? I also feel like the English dub comes with a ton of funny moments and like translation stuff that I might miss out on if I switched over. Another important reason is the style of my videos. Like, I tend to edit between these sections of me voicing over the footage and then switching over to the gameplay clips. And I feel like if I switched the dub to Japanese, this would reduce watchability a whole lot. Like, the viewer would have to read the subtitles instead of actually just listening to the dialogue. And I feel like that just adds another unnecessary step for the viewer that I kind of want to steer clear of. Speaking of other languages though, there have been some very interesting comments as well addressing the translation. These comments are really insightful. For example, this one tells us that Allogenes actually translates directly into Genshin. So yeah, it's basically a title drop. Then we have Gnosis, which is the thing inside Venti that he got ripped out by La Signora, which literally means heart of gods or God's heart. And Visions as well, which translate to God's Eye or Eye of Gods. This is all really interesting stuff, and I guess I gotta study up on some Chinese now. Alright, the last type of comments I want to discuss, I've actually gotten a lot of these too. It's the you should check out Hoyo versus other games, or you should read the Genshin manga, you should go back and watch story events on YouTube. Now for this one, I am a bit split, to be honest. One part of me is pretty stubborn about this, where I don't think I should necessarily have to seek out resources outside the game to just enjoy the story. Like, I do think that kind of hurts the storytelling a little bit if you really do need this essential knowledge from outside of the game. The other thing about the lore is these time-gated events that Genshin's apparently had, where there's important story content, but it's time-gated, so you kind of have to play to experience it, otherwise it's gone forever. That really sucks, I gotta say. But the other part of me is starting to get really addicted to Genshin's world and lore, so who knows, I might just give it a look. The manga concerns me a little bit because I'm not quite clear on the copyright stuff with showing the panels in a video and all that, but I'll look into it and perhaps I will eventually end up diving into this. My main priority is to get through the actual main story of the game, first and foremost. As for if I'll check out other games by Hoyo, I mean, I have played a little bit of Honkai Star Rail. The turn-based combat wasn't really for me, but it did have a seemingly interesting story. But right now, I'm definitely hooked on Genshin, and that's what I'm going to keep continuing to do, because I feel like that's what you guys want first and foremost as well. So maybe eventually, but not until we get a good while into the story at least. Alright, I think that's the most common comments. I'm very sorry if I missed something important. Please let me know down below. I'll try to keep an extra careful watch on this video in particular and try to answer anything you might ask me down there. So go ahead and leave a comment and, you know, like, hit the bell button, all that. I feel like you probably did already if you're watching this, but gotta say it. Thank you so much once again for your support and your kind words. It's been completely overwhelming in the best possible way. So please take care of yourselves out there. Have a happy new year. Don't do anything rash. Don't lose any fingers. And I'll see you in 2026 for the Liyue chapter. I can't wait.